What's up, everyone? This is Misti-Dawn from the Manamal Streaming Radio, talking to our buddy Mike Floros from the band SteelCity. Hey, Mike, how have you been? Great to have you back.
Oh, thanks for having me back. It's really awesome to be back with you guys. It was such a fun interview the first time. Hopefully we can duplicate that.
Sure. Now, what's the band been up to since the last time we spoke?
Practice, and practice. That's really about it. Since the last time we spoke, we've gotten together again on another occasion, and we went ahead and just went over our set because, with me being in California and the rest of the band being East Coast / Midwest, it makes things a bit more challenging. So what we all do is we practice separately, and then when we get together, we run over our set, and that's what we've been working on the most, is just trying to get things ready, trying to get things tight, and just ready to rock the hell out of both Nerf and then subsequently Rock and Skull, which is being presented by Jacob Force this year.
Right. I know you guys have to be super stoked for the New England Rock Festival. Now, this is for Kivel Records' 20-year anniversary, correct?
Yes, it is. John's been in business for 20 years, which seems to be a major feat in this business. And to be in business that long, you've got to be doing something right, and you've got to be surrounding yourself with some great people. And I think to his testament, John's done that. And when you look at New England Rock Fest, it's really a great show, and it's such an honor for us. I mean, it's our first show out of the gate, so we really kind of have to bring it. And we're hoping to do just that. We want to leave people with a great impression of Steel City live.
Right.
But, man, what a show. John really has kind of pulled out all the stops. He's gotten a couple of really great national artists, and Eric Martin headlining Friday, and he's got, of course, the Mighty Firehouse headlining on Saturday, and we're really looking forward to meeting those guys and playing with them as well. And then you look back, and he's got his, some of his old Kivel bands, some of his new Kivel bands, like Us, No Love Lost, The Great Affairs, The Rumors, who I believe you're talking with all those guys.
Yes, I did. Yep.
Yeah. How'd that go?
Oh, wonderful. I'll tell you. It's, this is something towards John Kivel. The last 3 interviews that I've had were his clients. And I don't think anybody even remotely close to saying anything negative about him. You guys seem like you're just a big family, and I think that's amazing. I don't think other places or other record companies are always like, it's all corporate bull crap, everything down to it. It's just crazy. But this John Kivel is amazing, and he's really, really bringing out the best bands, and that's awesome that you're one of them.
Well, I appreciate you saying that, not only about us, but about John as well. Yeah. And I can only tell you this: when we, the bands on his label, we all do our best to build each other up, and we genuinely get along. And not only are we want to see each other successful, which is why, when we reach out, quite honestly, when we reach out for interviews, I don't just reach out for myself. I reach out for my label mates, and I know they do the same for us, because again, we want to see each and every one of us succeed. But the other thing I can tell you is we try to maintain great relationships, not only with, with ourselves, but we'd like to have good relationships with bands that are on other labels too, because let's face it, this is a small, segment or market, whatever you want to call it, as far as our little bracket here, our little genre of music. It's not really a huge market anymore like it was in the 80s.
Right.
And so for us, at least from our mentality, we're just hoping that not only can we succeed, but we want to see everybody succeed, because when everybody does, we all do. And it's, I'd rather see things harmonious, and I'd rather see everybody getting along rather than, small infighting and things like it. There's no time for that.
I agree.
We're all grown-ups now. Let's just have some fun and rock the hell out, man. That's the best part about it. You get to play live. You get to meet people.
Right. How is Fortress doing?
The last time I spoke with John, he told me, I know it's doing well as far as numbers. I couldn't tell you exactly, but I know out of the gate, it did extremely well out of the gate, and I think it did progressively well afterwards as well. I can tell you that from my personal opinion, people talking to me, I know people reaching out to Brian, Scott, Ron, Tony, they've all just been nothing but positive, telling us, their impressions of the albums, So I think it's doing good. I mean, to make a short story long, I think it's doing pretty awesome. We love it.
That's great.
We love getting the positive feedback, and can't say enough great things about the people that have been reaching out to us. Right. And we thank them especially as well.
Well, I love the album. Absolutely love it from beginning to end. So I
liked your little comment about shame on you being your earworm for the day. I believe that was you, wasn't it?
Probably.
Or was it Sue's?
It could have been me. I couldn't tell you. Just recently.
But, that made my day. That really did.
Oh,
it gave me a good laugh, and it made my day at the same time. So thanks for that.
Sure. Now, how many singles are out off of the album Fortress right now?
That's a good question, and I can't really tell you that there's an actual single. One of the things that we really liked about the album, that we were really kind of proud of, is when we were looking to, say, okay, let's release this song first, or this song second, or this song third. We really had a hard time coming up with which song should be which. And I would like to say, for me, we felt the whole album was strong, and we could have picked any song and it wouldn't have mattered.
Right.
So I know that the whole album's out there for public consumption right now, and I think the order it went in, I think, though, if I remember correctly, would be Turnabout, and then we came back with Do You Love Me, and I think Heart and Soul was like the third song out. But each time that we've interviewed with somebody, or we've spoken with somebody, everybody's got a different favorite song on the album, and that just tells me that we made a good album. We're really proud of it, and I don't know. That's why we always tell people when they ask us, which song should I play? I just say, play what you like, play what you want. We're not really worried about which song gets out there as the quote-unquote favorite.
Well, that's a good way to look at that. That's, completely understand.
Sorry for the long answer.
Now, I read somewhere that you had been carrying around some of these songs in your head for like 25 years. At what point did you say, it's time to unleash all of these songs?
Well, that point came probably around 2014 or 2015 when I initially started out with my other band called Idora, which is kind of a little bit of a heavier project than SteelCity. And not by much. SteelCity has a lot of cojones, man. You know what I'm talking about? But, it's still pretty powerful. But we're going for like a heavier sound with the Idora thing. But it started out with that because some of these songs, like I said, have just been stuck there for a long time. And I reached out to a local studio here in town, here in Los Angeles, and I was able to put some stuff down on tape. And while I was there, the studio owner and I, we became really good friends, and we set me up with a home studio, and then the floodgates just opened. Because at that particular point, I've got carte blanche to do whatever I want, whenever I want. If I've got a day off, there are times when I spend like 8, 10, 12 hours in here just, laying down drums or putting down bass lines or playing the guitars, putting vocals down that I'll end up sending to Brian so he can work his magic with them. So what ended up happening is just getting this studio really kind of made everything come out to the forefront and really just gave me that opportunity. And there's still songs in my head that have been stuck there for 25 or 30 years that I have yet to lay down. And we've got about 40 or 45 songs or so set up for the next SteelCity album. We have to choose from those songs as well.
Speaking of, like later on here, are you planning to release an album next year, or are you working for trying to have it done by the end of the year?
Maybe not the end of the year, because that'd be pretty quick. We just came out with this album, earlier in the spring,
right.
So we don't want to go too crazy. We want to make sure that we do a few things. We want to make sure that we sit down as a band and we find 10 to 12 of the best songs that we have. The 40 to 45 that we have right now, I think 3 or 4 of them are Scott's. We have a couple of covers that we have that we've just thrown in there as ideas, and then the rest are mine. and we still don't even have, contributions from Tony. Ron might have a little something to offer there, and of course Brian Cole. So we might even end up with more songs. So we're going to really have to sit down, sift through, listen to what we like, listen to what we love, and once we find those songs, we'll put the album out. I'm going to guess probably somewhere between spring and summer next year. That would be my best guesstimate.
I can't wait.
Because, like I said, we just really want to put our best foot forward with every album. We don't want to leave any stone unturned, and we want to make sure that when someone puts song 1 of album 2 on, that album doesn't stop playing until, if we put 10 songs on the album, until song 10 has completely run its course.
Right.
And then we want them to be able to spin back and say, I want to hear that again. That's our goal. We don't want to just put, here's 3 good songs and the rest is crap.
Well, I can't wait. I'm really excited about it. So we really love you on the Manamal. You guys are very good to us, and we do what we can for you. So we thank you for that. Oh,
we appreciate it too. Every time we see, we're just really kind of truly humbled. Anytime we see, the Manamal posts with SteelCity on there for your new gen, your next gen, we love it, and we just get, we get kind of pumped to see that. And it's humbling at the same time, and it just brings a smile to all of our faces. We've actually texted each other back and forth or talked about it, and we enjoy it, because you're putting on some other great artists as well. So, can't complain about the good company that we're keeping either.
Well, thank you. We really appreciate that. We work very hard, and there's only 3 of us, so it's, kind of Sue's and Paul's do the background stuff, the website stuff, which is phenomenal, and I do this, so I have a good time doing this. It's not the beginning like I used to be, like petrified and fangirling. I'm getting it down, I think.
Well, just from my standpoint, there are some really great interviewers out there, and we've spoken to a few of them, and I'd have to say that you're up there. We love you.
Well, thank
you. We really enjoyed the last interview with you. I mean, it was fantastic.
It was fun.
And it's actually, one of the other folks that interviewed us actually was, we were talking about earworms earlier. My friend Rachel Logan is the person who put the earworm in my head to push for something different, like a different band, and that band ended up becoming SteelCity. So I think what you guys do on the other side of this is awesome, and we're glad you guys are all there.
We just want to keep rock alive. It's just something that we are all passionate about, and we just enjoy being able to put your music out there and help. It's a great scratch your back, I'll scratch mine kind of thing, but we're friends, so that's...
Well, that just sounds fabulous. Sorry.
It's okay. Now back to the new gen rock and metal. Who are some of the ones that you are into?
One of the bands that I've really been grooving to a lot lately, and it's not just because they're my label mates, is I dig the Rumors, and they kind of have that little, they kind of have like that hard rock with that punky edge, and it just really kind of kicks your ass. And one of the bands that I've really been grooving to a lot lately is, the Great Affairs. I mean, these guys, I put on that album, and I just was like, oh my gosh, this is like early Tom Petty, early Rod Stewart, maybe some Black Crowes. I've even heard Tesla mixed in there because, one of their singers has a voice just that's like Jeff Keith. And that album just kicked my ass from start to finish. I listen to it daily. Denny is, just one hell of a songwriter. Those guys are doing a great job. As far as people off of our label, there's a band called Universe. They have an album, it's Universe Infinity. I've really been digging that too because it just got that kind of the similar vibe that we do, that Journey on steroids kind of vibe, and they rock, and I dig them. And they're guys that, again, they're like our age, and they're out there, and they're just kicking ass and taking names, and I dig that. I think it's great there's young guys out there that are doing it as well, but I think there's something to be said for a lot of guys that are still in our generation, the Great Affairs, the Apocalyptic Lovers. I think it's great that we're all out there and we're still just doing what we can to just keep the music going.
Right. I get that completely. Okay, let's get back to Rock and Skull.
Okay.
What other Kivel bands will be there besides your band?
Oh gosh.
I mean,
I know for certain.
Kivel.
The rumors and the great affairs for certain will be there. I think those guys are kind of staples at that show, if I'm not mistaken. And of course, as is the Mighty Tango Down. So we're going to have those guys there, and then of course I believe Bombay Black also is going to be on the bill. Romeo Riot slated to be there as well, I think.
That sounds like
so it's almost like New England Rock Fest Part 2 with some other really cool bands. There's a band out of Pittsburgh that's going to be there. They're pretty kick-ass, called Big Atlantic. What I've heard of them, I've really dug. So, and we're playing on the same day as they are. So that's going to be pretty fun.
That's nice.
Because we're all from the same area. As I think you're pretty close to the Pittsburgh area as well. So
yeah, I'm actually an hour and a half north of Pittsburgh.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, it's really going to be kind of fun to just have all the guys on the label there again. Be a great party. Jacob Forrest is the guy that's putting it on this year, and he's kind of going out of his way to, kind of like John has with New England Rock Fest, to kind of make people feel at home and just really kind of be able to get into the event. And that's really what it's all about. It's great to not only just get up there and play live and just get out in front of a bunch of people and jam and rock out, but then there's the other fun part, which is actually being part of the crowd. Going out there and not only supporting your label mates, but supporting bands like Big Atlantic and some of the other bands that are going to be there, seeing the national acts that are going to be there. I mean, Angel, for crying out loud, whoever thought that I'd be able to, play on the same stage as Angel? That's really cool. And that's going to be the fun part, is just, being out in the crowd, being out with everybody else and just rocking out, maybe having an adult beverage in my hand at one time or another, or two, and just having fun with the good people that are going to be there, that's going to be fun.
Rock and Skull is my favorite festival, so I really like that. I wish I could handle the traveling, but I can't anymore, so I'm pretty much stuck for that.
Well, we'll see if we can't get a show closer to you, so there won't be much traveling involved.
I'm gonna have to keep plugging Jurgles.
Feel free, keep plugging Jurgles. Go right ahead. There might be some point in time where we're able to play a show there. I know there's been talk of it, and I think it's a matter of us maybe just really kind of committing to a show and then getting it. I don't know who does all the business at that particular venue, but maybe it's just a matter of us getting with them and just seeing, if they've got a good spot for us. And if they do, man, of course, I'll play anywhere. I don't care.
I don't blame you. I would too. If someone were to come up to you and ask you to describe your sound, what do you say to them?
That's something that John Kivel and I talked about, and because we've received so many different answers on that of who we quote unquote sound like. Some of the bands have been. I think the most oft referred to band that I can recall is Stryper, and I think that's simply because of Brian's voice. Brian's voice and all of those harmonies, and it just okay. I get it. I'm also a massive Stryper fan, so maybe that came out in the writing. But John, I think, said it best because he felt when listening to the album, because I made him listen to the entire album before he signed us. And, it makes it. I guess nobody makes John Kivel do anything. I kindly requested, but he said it doesn't sound like a particular band. He said what it sounds like is 1992. He said you could take a different band from that year or that era. He said, and you could say that this song sounds like Firehouse. This song sounds like Stryper. To me, Shame on You sounds like Journey. And David Hope of the Apocalyptic Lovers actually called us Journey on steroids. When he said it, I laughed hysterically, and but I thought it was appropriate because I kind of get that feeling that we have a little bit of that vibe going on. And I don't mind being compared to Journey. Are you kidding me?
Right?
Pretty awesome. Yeah, and I think the other one might have been the other one that we've gotten quite a bit of, and I think it has something to do with Brian's ties to that band by playing live with them when they did their little reunion. They did like 3 songs for a reunion. Was Giant, and I know Brian. That's probably one of his main influences, and he brings a lot of that into his vocals. So I can see that.
Good choice. I love them.
It's not like they're a bad band to be compared to. Again,
right.
we've heard Firehouse, so yeah, we'll take that too.
Now, you've been
I think I'd laugh if somebody said we sounded like the Ramones, but okay, sure, whatever. But we're happy. We're just happy people dig the album.
Now, I know you've been flying from the West Coast to Ohio for rehearsals, and obviously that's going to be really tough. Do you ever get struck with inspiration while you're traveling back and forth?
Yes, I do. And what's comical about that, or why I'm laughing, is because you're sitting there, you're on a plane, you've got an idea for a song. What are you going to do? So it's happened to me. So you're in the middle of your flight. You get up. You've got your cell phone in airplane mode on your hand. In your hand. You walk into the bathroom and you start humming humming a harmony line, a melody line in the bathroom into your phone, just like the voice recorder. And what else? If you do that in front of a whole bunch of people, they're gonna look at you like you're crazy. If one person hears you outside of the restroom door, then one person thinks you're crazy. But that's kind of a crazy, stupid thing that's happened. But yeah, there you go. A little embarrassing to tell you that, but it is what it is.
Oh, we like that kind of stuff. So no worries, no judgment.
I pull no punches. You could ask me anything, and if the answer is stupid and a little embarrassing, I'll still say it. It doesn't matter. I'm that guy.
Now, I want to get into, I know that you're SteelCity, but I did want to get into Idora for a minute. Do you completely have that project on the back burner, or are you working with it out in California?
No, I wouldn't say it's completely on the back burner. That'd be a bit that'd be inaccurate. I actually have songs written for Idora. The thing is when Brian and I, after the last album and after the SteelCity album, Brian, by the way, this is just not to confuse anybody, the lead singer of SteelCity is Brian Cole. The lead singer of Idora is Brian Cole Kitt. That's not confusing at all, right?
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, good time. And I've known Brian Cole Kitt since we were like little kids. I think maybe 3 years old. I think we grew up in the same neighborhood. What we did the last time we spoke, he was another person who actually encouraged me to do the SteelCity thing, because he said, dude, when you write these songs, he's like, you've got to be writing them for Michael Sweet. He's like, for crying out loud. He's like, I've got range, but I don't have that range. So, he was another person who was encouraging me to go out and do something, different, and that's where, again, SteelCity blossomed. He wants to do stuff that's a bit more heavy, that's a bit more Judas Priest, has a little bit more of that, just a little grittier sound. And that's fine. And I'm totally cool with that, because I dig those. I dig that heavier sound as well. For me, I write stuff that's probably a little bit more along that melodic hard rock edge. So writing for Idora is now different than writing for SteelCity, and it might take a little longer. I wouldn't say back burner, but I would say, and I was hoping to have an album out with Idora later this year, maybe next year, again, along with SteelCity. But I'd like to make sure, just like Idora, that just like SteelCity, that we have a ton of songs to choose from, and that when we sit down with me, Brian, Mike Kalanka, when we're going through these songs, that we have the best sound humanly possible, the best songs humanly possible, so somebody can smile from start to finish on that album. Whatever band it is, and I hope, and I think all bands set out to do that. The best thing that you can do is just put your best foot forward and just hope that people dig it.
That was a great answer. Very good.
I was studying. I studied all night for this.
What's the most rock star thing you've ever done?
I honestly don't know. I couldn't tell you. I don't think I've really done anything rock star-ish other than maybe go batshit crazy on a motorcycle or in a car. I can, let's see, going a buck 45 or so on the freeway on my Ducati back when I had it, back before I left it in pieces on a mountain road here in California. Or maybe crashing it. Maybe that's the most rock star thing I've ever done. But in any event, whatever I've done, it would probably have something to do with speed because allegedly rock stars like to speed. So there you go.
That's awesome. My last question is, what is the greatest piece of advice you have ever been given about the music business?
I'm sorry, I missed that. Can you repeat that for me, please?
Yep. What is the greatest piece of advice that you've ever been given about the music business?
Wow, that's an amazing question and a good one at that. I would have to say that the best piece of advice that I've probably been given is not only applies to the music business, but just applies to life. Be true to yourself. Be honest with yourself. And there's been a few people that have said that to me in regard to music. John Kivel has said it. Johnny Lima, our amazing producer, he said it. Brian Cole, when he and I were in the process of, doing the vocals and the harmonies on this album, we were always telling each other, all of us, be honest with yourself. Be straightforward and do something that makes you happy. Because if you're unhappy doing what you're doing, it's going to come across in the music that you're making. If you are satisfied in what you're doing, that positive aura, that positive vibe, whatever you want to call it, I think it translates to the album, it translates to the music, and it translates to the people around you. So that's it. Just be true to yourself, because if you're trying to please other people, it's never gonna happen.
Sound advice for sure, and that could be applied to anything in life. But I agree.
That's it. Yeah, exactly.
Is there anything
sometimes
else?
That's a lesson that's hard for a lot of people to learn, but it's something that is definitely worth its weight in gold. It's a great piece of advice.
Is there anything else you'd like to share with our listeners tonight?
Yes.
Okay.
If I haven't said it already, Scott West, Ron McCloskey, Tony Stahl, Brian Cole, myself, Mike Floros. The one thing we want to do more than anything is just thank each and every person that's taken the time to listen to Steel City, pick up the album, support the band. We can't thank you enough, because it fills our heart with a lot of joy to be able to make music that people actually, they're digging, they're vibing on, they like it. And the only thing we can do is just keep making it and get out there, play live as a way of saying thanks. And we just want to thank you for being a part of the band.
That's amazing. We consider you part of the family too. We, like I said earlier, we forged a friendship. So it's been great, and we want to back you up until forever.
We thank you for that, and of course, if there's anything we can do for the Manamal, we're here.
Absolutely, we know that. Well, anyway, Mike, it's been a real pleasure catching up with you today. I appreciate you calling in. Second follow-up here. We are so glad we connected. You are all, 1 second. Do you want me to start that over? Because that was terrible.
If you want to, sure.
I can do that, okay. Just takes 2 clicks. All right. Hi, Mike, it's been a real pleasure catching up with you today. Thank you so much. We're so glad we connected with you guys. You're all awesome. For our listeners, please don't forget to check out Steel City's album Fortress. It's rock at its finest. This is Misti-Dawn with the Manamal Streaming Radio. Have a great night.
Rock on.